I'm not gonna bore you with some long-ass intro. You read the title, you saw the thumbnail. Who will win in a fight between Monkey D. Luffy and Naruto Uzumaki? So, why am I making this video? Well, basically, a lot of people on TikTok are talking about this again after it was really popular in like 2020. That was really popular on TikTok, and the arguments back then were just really dumb from both sides, and they're even dumber now. Like, somehow every video I see on this topic is fucking more idiotic than the last, and it pisses me off because I think the answer is pretty obvious, but people don't really understand that. And I think the main problem is that people are just way too biased. Like, these are two of the most popular series in all of anime, so of course people are going to be extremely biased when talking about this. And I'm going to be completely honest, I do not like Naruto. I don't like the series. I think it's boring, and I love One Piece. But I'm putting all of my biases aside from this video, and I'm just gonna be looking at the facts. So, let's start with AP. And first up, we're gonna be talking about Luffy. When talking about Luffy's AP, I think it's more simple than people make it out to be. A lot of people seem to overcomplicate it with stuff like, oh, planetary Luffy because Whitebeard could destroy the world. No, Whitebeard isn't planetary. I could make an entire video on why he isn't planetary, which, if anyone wants me to make this, I'd be happy to. But just know that the statement is taken highly out of context, and world doesn't necessarily need to mean planet. I mean, Big News Morgan over here in chapter 1014 says that he could shake the world with his words. Does that mean that the planet itself is gonna shake if he starts talking? No, it's not. And I'm just gonna say this, if you think that Whitebeard is planetary because of this statement, then you also have to think that Shigaraki is planetary. That was kind of a rant there. Let's actually talk about how strong Luffy is. When going over the better feats in the series, it's pretty consistent that Luffy should scale to multi-continental. I mean, we have stuff like Fujitora bringing down a giant meteor, which has been calculated to have continental levels of kinetic energy. We also have two feats from Whitebeard during Marineford, which have been calculated multi-continental, and Luffy's Baranjigan, I think it's pronounced, I'm not really sure, that he hit Kaido with, which has also been calced at multi-continental. I will link all the calcs down below in the description, so just, if you want to check out any of the calcs, just go down there. And while you're down there, click the subscribe button. I'm gonna start uploading more to YouTube, so I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Now, let's move on to Naruto. When it comes to Naruto's AP, it's also pretty simple. Baryon mode Naruto kicked the shit out of Ishiki. Ishiki is stronger than Jigen, and Jigen is stronger than Fused Momoshiki. Fused Momoshiki is stronger than normal Momoshiki, who is stronger than Kaguya. Kaguya can create and destroy dimensions that have planets and arguably even stars in them. This means that Kaguya would be large planet to possibly even low solar system level. And this would all scale to Naruto, so Naruto would also be around large planets to low solar system. But of course, AP doesn't determine everything. We're also going to have to look at speed. And for speed, we're starting with Naruto. When it comes to Naruto's speed, I think people heavily underestimate him, thinking that he's like relativistic from dodging Madara's Light Fang, which really isn't. Like, it's pretty clear that Naruto should be light speed or even faster. I mean, while in base and pretty much dying from a chakra sickness, he's dodging photon beams. And during the war arc, Naruto in KCM1 even blitzes the Raikage, someone who is near light speed. Now, I'm not gonna use like the 70 times faster than the speed of light calc, because that's kind of dumb. The calc is just kind of wrong. It also doesn't make any narrative sense for Luffy to. It doesn't make any narrative sense for Naruto to be 70 times faster than the Raikage. But either way, Naruto should definitely be FTL to FTL plus, and in Baryon mode he should be way faster than this. So how does Luffy stack up to Naruto when it comes to speed? I would say he stacks up pretty good. I mean, already the fact that pre-time skip Zoro, while injured, was able to dodge Kuma's pad cannon, which is light speed, which has been calced around 60% the speed of light. We also have stuff like Zoro dodging Kuma's laser, and we also have Zoro dodging numerous pad cannons while running at Kuma. So Zoro should easily be relativistic to relativistic plus, to even pre-time skip. Now let's lowball and say that Luffy post-time skip is only 2 times faster than Zoro, or just light speed. In order to find out how fast current Luffy would be, we're gonna have to go over his different gear multipliers, which is pretty simple. Gear 2 should be a 5 times multiplier going off of the CP9 power levels. Gear 4 should be a 3 times multiplier on top of Gear 5, going off of Doflamingo's statement. Well, we don't really have any statements around Gear 5, we know that it's faster, so for this I'm just gonna lowball it and say that it's just 2 times Gear 4. So this would make Gear 4 Luffy during Dressrosa 15 times faster than the speed of light. We don't really know how much faster Luffy gets in between Dressrosa and Wano, but we do know that during Wano, Gear 4 Luffy gets outsped by drunk base Kaido, and after his training in Udon, Luffy is able to dodge and react to Kaido's attacks in base, and this Kaido is in his hybrid form, which would make him probably many times faster than his base form. So base Luffy at this point should be over 15 times faster than the speed of light. Then we have, and then of course, stacking Gear 4 on top of that, we know that Luffy should be 225 times faster than the speed of light, and then Gear 5 should be 450 times faster than the speed of light. This is all extremely lowballing, as we're not taking into consideration the fact that Luffy probably got numerous times faster during the time skip, and the fact that just in between Dressrosa and Wano, Luffy probably got many times faster as well as the fact that Kaido is also many times faster in his hybrid form. So Luffy should probably be over 1,000 times faster than the speed of light realistically. And then we're also ignoring stuff like the fact that you can argue that Gear 2 is a 10 times multiplier. So really, Luffy should easily be way, way faster than Naruto, to the point where Naruto should not even be able to see Luffy move. So let's move on to hacks and abilities. And we're gonna start with Naruto again. Naruto's hacks are pretty simple. He has Rasen Shuriken, Rasengan, Shadow Clones, some like nature releases. His like arsenal isn't really that complicated. He doesn't really have a lot. Like he doesn't really have any durability negation outside of the Rasen Shuriken, which can like damage your cells. But I'm not even sure that would really work on Luffy, seeing as Luffy has Haki. And even then, like, Naruto would still just one-shot Luffy, so it doesn't really matter if he has durability negation or not. Naruto also has some pretty good regenerative abilities. Now let's move on to Luffy. Luffy gets a lot more complicated when talking about his hacks. I mean, he has some blunt damage resistance, a lot of blunt damage resistance to be honest. He also has durability negation with advanced armament Haki. He has future sight, but where it gets complicated is his Toon Force abilities with Gear 5. People like to say that Luffy can just do anything because of this statement right here. That isn't really true. Like, we don't know the true extent of what Luffy can really do, so assuming that he could just do anything is kind of dumb. Like, at best, we know that Luffy can do stuff like turn other things into rubber. He can make his hair into he can turn his hair into small objects, and he can turn big, and he can cause some cartoony stuff to happen. Like, it's not some reality-breaking abilities. At least not right now. Like, we'll have to see what he can actually do with them. But I don't think Oda is gonna go that way. I don't think Oda is gonna make Luffy into like Shinra, where he just becomes God and just reshapes Earth. That doesn't really make any sense. I don't think Oda would go that far. But even if it does, that's in the future. We're talking about current Luffy versus current Naruto. So, who would actually win in this fight? Well, you might think that it would be Naruto, seeing as he has the power to one-shot Luffy, but I don't think it's that simple. I do believe that Luffy would probably win, but not 100% of the time. I think it's more of like a 6-to-4 ratio or something like that. The reason I say this is because Luffy has a lot of abilities, he's extremely versatile, and he's way faster than Naruto. There's just no way that Naruto is realistically gonna be able to hit Luffy, and with durability engagement, it doesn't matter if Luffy can hurt Naruto with physical attacks. Even if Naruto can regenerate from these attacks, when Naruto runs out of Baryon mode, which won't take that long, he's just gonna be powerless and can't do anything. And while yes, Gear 5 also has a time limit, the time limit is shown to probably be way longer than that of Baryon mode, and Luffy can even start regaining some of his energy when fighting. So it doesn't really matter if Naruto is strong enough to beat Luffy. Luffy is just gonna run circles around him and punch him a bunch of times, and Naruto isn't gonna be able to do anything about it. So while it could go either way, I think that Luffy just has that slight advantage that would allow him to win.